How's it going, High Vibe Collective? This is Jax, and today we're going to be doing some impromptu tarot. And what we're going to be looking at today is talking about the collective energies right now, just doing some readings for the different signs out there. And if you are tuned in, then make sure to ask a question. I'm going to be doing some readings just sort of on the fly. I might not get to everyone, but if you have a question, then ask it in the comments, and I'll make sure to get to it. So just starting off for today, why don't we go ahead and get started with doing a collective reading for the different signs and seeing what special energy we have going on here. This is going to be all streamed through YouTube, but of course, if you guys can share this out to your Facebook, tag this on Instagram, that would be awesome. On Facebook, I'm under Jax Atlantis, as well as, of course, Instagram at Jax Atlantis as well. So make sure to check that out. Also, I've got a reading sale going on for the rest of today. It's an end of Capricorn sale. It was actually supposed to end a couple days ago, but there's so many people that really just needed a little bit of extra time. So I've extended that out, and I'm really excited to get started with that. Also, before we start the collective readings, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the upcoming show we have here at High Vibe, the Mongoose Den. I am looking for spiritual practitioners who, whether you run a spiritual business or whether your entire life has been about your spiritual practice, I'm very interested in having some people on to interview a new person each week who has developed their spirituality, that they've reached an interesting or sort of unique conclusion that they're not really seeing anywhere else, and also the opposition that you've faced. So if you want to apply to be on the Mongoose Den, go ahead and head to themongooseden@gmail.com and send me an email about the things you've experienced, the way that you perceive your journey, about the different, difficulties that you've faced, the different opinions that you faced, and how it is that you've moved through that, how it is you've managed that. So anyways, I'm really excited to get started today. So just make sure to comment, share this out, and I would love to do some readings for everybody. So starting off, let's go ahead and start with Aries. Let's do a collective reading for Aries today and see what it is that Aries is going to be going through, what it is they're going to be looking at, what they can look out for, and we'll just kind of like do it as it comes. So let's get started here. All right, so the first card for Aries is Temperance. Temperance is a card that shows that we can reach a place of serenity, we can reach a place of peace if we're allowing ourselves to genuinely include everything that we're feeling, genuinely include what we're thinking, and bring it all together with honesty. Because with Temperance, the Temperance card is not about being free of difficulty or free of problems in their life. It's about when you're facing these problems, being able to stay in a state of serenity, even still. With Temperance as well for Aries, this is definitely going to be a lesson about patience, right? This is going to be a lesson about picking your battles. And, if you are putting on your suit of armor and bringing out your sword every single time that you are, basically, in a conflict with someone, it's going to be something that will wear you out before you're actually ready for the final battle, for the real things that, are going to be going on right now. So the number one thing for Aries right now is to be ready to face a lot of opposition and to really prioritize what opposition needs your full suit of armor. And throughout these processes, just like with the Five of Wands, for example, when we see minor struggles come up in our life, recognizing that they're a minor struggle is such a huge part of that. It's such a huge part of that because if we are treating non-serious issues as if there's something detrimental to our life itself, we're going to end up expending so much energy on things that will not end up, benefiting us. So for Aries, what I want to see is the piece of advice that would be most important for you to utilize today and over the course of this week, and what can make things easier for you, what can make things noticeably change in your life. So let's take a look at that. So we have Three of Coins. So with Three of Coins, we're going to be looking at hard work. We're going to be looking at really getting down to business, because the thing is, a lot of times we think of the aces as a beginning of the journey. And then, of course, the 2 is like the second step. In reality, 3 is the beginning of the journey. 3 is because when you have the ones, when you have the aces, you've got raw material. You know, you've got just basically some essence of the universe, whether it's in the swords or the coins or the cups. And with the 3 of coins, this is saying now's the time to actually start something, which means you already know what the ace of coins idea is that you've been a part of recently. You know in the 2 of coins how it is that you are going to have to juggle that. You've been thoughtful about that. You've strategized about what it is you need to do to make this work. And 3 of coins is saying that this isn't even just about money. This is about basically giving yourself a sense of order, giving yourself hard work, and the respect that you give yourself when you work hard enough to actually achieve your goals. Because the thing is, with Aries as a cardinal energy, you love to start projects. You get all fired up about it. You're so excited to do something brand new. However, it's so important to be able to stick with it. And who teaches that lesson better than the 3 of coins, which is a Capricornian energy? Basically thinking about the long term, thinking about the investment today that will make the long term beautiful, that will be able to forge your legacy. And beyond finances, 3 of coins is also saying that there's a level of having the physical life that you want in this world, whether it's, you know, living in a cabin in the woods is your dream, or whether it's living in a mansion, whichever dream you have, it's important that you go out and seek that dream, and that you're honest about taking the actions necessary in a consistent basis to do that. So Aries, of course, has a lot to learn from Leo, because Leo always sticks with it. It continues its course. It stays fixed no matter what. And so Aries, this is definitely the time to remember serenity. Remember not to treat every battle as if it's going to be the final battle. And by saving up all of that energy, you can, according to the 3 of coins, really get to work and really allow yourself to do something that brings you joy, that brings you happiness, that, that in the moment is not going to be noticeable to other people, because that's part of it. There's a certain validation we get to publicly working really hard on something and everyone notices it. With 3 of coins, this is oftentimes you have to, you'll be down in the basement, or you'll be down in the garage. You'll be, starting up something that's incredible, but you'll be doing it with very sort of humble beginnings. And it's not going to be something that you receive praise or even immediate payoff for. So this is just the beginning of the journey for you guys. So let's take a look at Taurus and what's going on with Taurus right now. And before I go into Taurus, let me take a look at what we have going on in the chat. I'm really excited to see your guys' questions and the things that you guys are going for. Tanya Thompson, I hope you're doing well. I did an amazing reading with Tanya not too long ago. She rocks. How's it going, Bella? How's it going, Lisa from Arizona? Hey, cool. Blessings from Vancouver. Oh, this is so great. I love when there's like, a really like a crowd from like a lot of different places, because it just makes this world, it just helps you recognize that it's so much more connected than it feels sometimes. Like we all talk about how the internet has, been a force that has made us more disconnected than ever. And at the same time, though, the internet is just a tool, and it can be utilized in a very Aquarian way to bring us all together, to bring us all under one roof. And it can also, be a way that, we can get lost in the flashing lights and end up missing some of the point. So let's take a look. Law question in new direction. I'm not exactly sure, Anna, what the question is, but definitely ask some questions down below. I'd love to do some readings as well. We got Kim Yancey in the house. How's it going? Yeah, I'm starting with Aries. I'm moving in order. For when Craig and David do Deep Love Tarot, they love to randomly select. I love to just move in a very systematic order. Oh, we got Alexandria in the house. How's it going? And it's so great to see everybody. Yes, it is Taurus time. It is Taurus time. Let's go ahead and move on. And guys, ask some questions about things you want me to read on. I'm going to do some live tarot readings right now, and I'm looking forward to it. And of course, like I was talking about earlier when we first opened, when it comes to the new show that we're putting on here at High Vibe, the Mongoose Den, you can submit your information at the mongooseden@gmail.com, where you can tell me a bit about your spiritual journey and about the opposition you faced, and about, whether you have a spiritual business or are you just a spiritual practitioner as a lifestyle. I would really love to interview you and work with you and kind of like just ask some of the tough questions, because I think there's a lot of shows out there that it's sort of softball, it's basically just kind of people just sort of agreeing with each other for an hour straight. And for me, what I really want to focus on is opposition, focus on the antagonistic energy. That's why it's called the mongoose den, is because there's a natural relationship built in there between the mongoose and the serpent. And, the venom of dogma, the snakes of charlatanism, these things, it's really important to kind of bring these things to the surface. And if we can all have honest conversations about what that looks like and what that is and where things kind of keep going wrong, I think we can add some beautiful legitimacy to spirituality in this particular way. And that's really my goal with the show. So anyways, I look forward to hearing from you guys. Let's go ahead and move on to Taurus, and then let's answer some of your guys' questions before we do Gemini. So Gemini, we have 4 of Wands. Okay, so you're probably feeling right now like a bit of chaos in your life, and you're looking to find some structure, which makes sense because the 4, of course, is always going to be that square-like structure. It's going to be about being able to rely upon something. And oftentimes the 4 of Wands is in the form of like a celebration, like a family reunion or a wedding, things like that. With Gemini right now, it's not like you have to go out and get married in order to find stability. However, it is suggesting that this is the time to reconnect with your pillars of stability. So if that's your family, like go visit them or just give them a call. If that's your friends, then go spend some time with them if you've been too up in your head. Because it's interesting. I was originally going to be doing this reading for Taurus, but I skipped right over to Gemini, which is pretty interesting. We're going to go back to Taurus in a second. But with Gemini, you right now, it feels like the most important thing for you is creating some stability and taking action to make that happen. And the fact that you jumped ahead even in line ahead of Taurus, like that's pretty telling right there. So if you're isolating yourself and things are getting really hectic in your head, it's time to take a step back and simplify. Relying on your pillars of strength does not have to be some huge conversation. It doesn't have to be some sort of explosion that's happening in our lives. Like, it really just comes down to spending some time and being a part of love, giving some love and receiving some love. So Gemini, let's see what else you've got going on here, because we can take a look at what it is you need to know right now. What thing's going to help you? So hilarious. Look at this. We got 4 of coins as well. So 4 of coins for Gemini is basically saying, look, the 4 numerology is what you need right now. You need structure and stability. With 4 of coins, we, of course, always run the natural risk of basically creating too much stability, getting caught in a loop, and sort of falling into complacency, living in the 4 of coins. 4 of coins, basically, if you live in the 4 of coins, you're living paycheck to paycheck. It's like a very, like, you're very strapped, but everything's stable. There's nothing chaotic happening. There's nothing that's crazy. So 4 of coins right now, Gemini, you are needing some family time. You're needing some friend time. And you're needing to really get organized and create some stability for yourself in the physical world. Because once again, not just about money. This is about your calendar. This is about your sleep schedule. This is about all the things that you do have control over of, which seem irrelevant to the chaotic philosophical battles that are happening in your mind right now. But at the same time, this is how you create that stability. This is it is relevant. Like the way that your room looks will totally be telling about the way that your mind is looking right now. So if everything's a mess on the external, then it does not help the internal. So it's really important to rely on that 4, and you have to go out and create that 4. It is not coming to you of its own accord. So before we move on, I have to go back to Taurus because I just skipped right over them for some reason. So let's figure out what's going on with Taurus, and I'm going to check out the comment section really quick before we do Taurus. And I swear, if I start skipping over to Cancer and I forget about Taurus, just don't let that happen. Just tell me all about it. Let's take a look. Oh, good. We got some questions. What should I do in my love life? The man I love, should I continue with? Jennifer, I like that. Lucky, hi, Jax. Oh, yeah, it's good to talk to you. I talk to you on Instagram sometimes. That's awesome. Gemini question, need some career insight. Well, as far as career insight, Christina, yeah, you're chocked full of inspiration. You're chocked full of dreams. You're chocked full of these really special ideas. What the collective energy was just saying for Gemini is that the thing that will help funnel into the correct path for you is going to be finding some stability with the people around you and finding some stability with the organization of how things are currently working in your life, because that's going to free up all this stressful energy that's currently making it difficult to process, like, what actual move should you make. So yeah, I can't wait to go through and do these readings. Gemini moon. So Cancun just called me to come back and visit. The spiritual travel, is this really going to be my thing? Yeah, definitely strong travel vibes from you. And I know you personally. So, it's like I had done an astrology reading with you, and we had detected so much travel happening for you this year. However, what I would say is that the number one thing for you right now is to just keep staying open, Alexandria. Like, keep staying open to new experiences and to new things flooding into your life, because there's going to be a lot of positivity. We're going in order. Yeah, Jennifer, we were going in order. I did Aries, and then I just skipped right to Gemini and didn't do Taurus. So I'm going to go back and do Taurus, and then I'm going to fix that. Open to general guidance. Awesome. So right after Taurus, let's answer a few of these questions. Let's do Taurus first. Maybe Taurus's lesson will be about being patient. Let's see what's going on. Okay, Taurus. So we've got Knight of Swords. Okay, so Taurus, that's hilarious. This actually is about patience. Knight of Swords is suggesting do not rush. Do not rush things. Knight of Swords often depicts the story of this young genius who is naturally clever, quick to pick things up, but that quickness of mind leads to some arrogance. And the problem with that arrogance is that it leads them into a battle because they rush in headfirst to be the savior and the hero of the story, and they end up getting themselves hurt or killed. And the reason for that is because they thought, oh, I'm so intelligent that I get to break all of the rules all the time. The problem with that is that preparedness is a strong form of wisdom for a reason. It's something that no matter how smart you are, it's important to be actually prepared. So Taurus, right now you're going to have a few, intuitively I'm feeling this is actually not in the form of career moves. This feels like it's more in the form of social dynamics. Feels like you're going to have a few people that are doing some stuff in the background of your life, and you're going to be wondering if it's shady. You're going to be wondering if it's legitimate, and you might quickly want to draw assumptions. You might want to draw conclusions and say, oh, this person's definitely trying to betray me. Oh, this person's definitely trying to do this. Just like take some time and really hear out the whole situation. Have some open dialogue, have some communication, because if you jump to this conclusion and then you head into battle, you might either A, unfortunately be successful and cut down someone who was not trying to betray you, or B, you'll be unsuccessful because you were unprepared in a legitimate situation that was a legitimate threat. So the number one thing for Taurus right now, be patient, take some time to hear multiple points of view, and if you're drawing a quick assumption, that's fine, but just maybe hold off on acting on it immediately. Take some time to see if someone else has wisdom that will help you. Now let's take a look at what Taurus needs to know for this next week that can help them out and that can really bring some positivity and abundance into their lives. Oh, we got 8 of coins. Nice. Okay, so Taurus is going to be very comfortable in this card. 8 of coins is a Virgo energy, and it is, in the earthy energies, 8 of coins is a really nice one because it represents mastery. So right now, you might have been working, remember the 3 of coins back in the Aries reading? The 8 of coins is suggesting that this is when you're finishing up that project. You're finishing up that thing that was beneath the surface, that you weren't getting acclaim for. And Tauruses are going to be feeling a sense of mastery. A lot of times this mastery will come in the form of mastering something new in the form of art. Possibly like a college graduation is something that comes through with 8 of coins a lot because it's a secondary level of stability intellectually. 8 of coins is also going to be showing that once you reach that level of mastery, you're going to be questioning yourself if you really have done it. And so it's really important to give yourself credit where credit is due. So if you've mastered something, if you've done something incredible that you never thought was possible, now's the time to say, okay, I did it. I'm going to stand up from my desk. I'm going to take some time and, maybe take like a small vacation. But here's the deal. The 8 of coins, of course, leads next into the 9 of coins, where you start to analyze what your value system is. You start to analyze what you're really working for, why it is that you mastered what you did. And so before you even get to that point, really be thoughtful this upcoming week and say, the reason I master this is because I have so much heart space in this. I have so much passion about this subject. The reason I study this meticulously and figure out every single little detail is because I know that it'll bring me the success and the abundance and the love in life that I deserve. If honestly, you can almost think of the 8 of coins and the Knight of Swords as antithetical energies, because Knight of Swords is basically saying, I started as a master and I rush in and accidentally get myself hurt. 8 of coins says I patiently take time and I become a master step by step by step. Very Virgo energy. So Taurus of course can understand Virgos really well and see where it is that they're coming from, especially on the day to day. So let's take a look next at Cancer. But before we do, let's answer some of your guys' questions. Let's see what you guys have going on here. All right. This resonates. I've been working on my spiritual gifts, not working at the moment. I've been more of a homebody. I'm not sure why. So Adriana, yeah. So being a homebody, definitely. That sometimes being a homebody is just your subconscious crying out to give itself some structure so that it can then give itself some risk again. Because the thing is, we always want to be on a real tightrope between risk and structure, between staying comfortable in a situation just because it's comfortable versus recharging our batteries, because the 4 often is about that. And then, of course, stepping into our next phase and saying, you know what, it's time for me to be vulnerable, go out there and try this thing, and that's going to open me up to risk. Anytime you're vulnerable, you're opening yourself up to potentially get hurt. But the only time you're living is when you're vulnerable. So let yourself live like that, take some of the time you need and then go for it. Let's take a look at some of these questions. These are going to be way out of order as far as your guys' questions, as some of you already have. I'm going to try and just intuitively go down the list and really pick whatever just calls my intuition. So there's no right or wrong here. There's no better questions or worse questions. I'm just going to pick whatever intuition says, and that'll just be because that person apparently needs to hear it at that moment. So let's take a look. Hey, Lynn. I did not do Cancer yet. Cancer is next. I'm going to go over some of these questions. Carissa Ann. Hey, Jax. I'm a Taurus who's realizing just how much I've stayed small to avoid hurting others. I'm entering a season of success, finishing my PhD. That's brilliant. The 8 of coins was just talking about that. But I'm terrified instead of excited. Any insight? Let's pull a card for you. The thing is, logically, of course, you shouldn't be scared. You should be excited. You know that logically, but emotionally, that's a whole different story. Emotionally, there's a lot of things to cover here. There's things on the spectrum of worthiness, right? There's things on the spectrum of general preparedness. And let's go ahead and take a look and draw a card at what seems to be creating some of this anxiety. But, before I even pull a card, the important thing to know is that sometimes there's a level of rejection that happens when we don't want to be scared, right? So a lot of times the conventional advice is, oh, you're about to go on stage, don't be nervous, don't be nervous. And sometimes that's dishonest because you are nervous, like you're totally nervous and you can't just shove it away. The helpful thing sometimes is saying, this scared energy, this nervous energy, this belongs to me. And I get to convert it into whatever form of energy I want because it came from me, it belongs to me, and I'm the one who gets to transmute it. So there's a level of pride you can take in saying, I'm scared. I'm scared to go out there and do this. I'm terrified of moving on to this next job now that I have my PhD. Now, all these people who are seasoned are going to be looking at me, but they started in exactly the same place as you. We all naturally feel that. So own it. Say, I possess that fearful energy and I'm going to convert it into something far greater than fear. Let's take a look at what the cards say is the number one thing to keep in mind when you're going through this. 3 of Cups. 3 of Cups is very interesting to be an answer for fear. 3 of Cups is a lot of times going to be about celebration. It's going to be about spending time with friends. It's going to be about a very lighthearted energy. So one thing in particular that the card seems to be suggesting is that every time you're starting to feel this fear, give yourself an equal chance, right? So for instance, yes, you might feel scared reasonably so because there will be people with far greater experience that have been in the field for longer. But you also have to give yourself the fair explanation of, but I am learning things right now while getting my PhD that my predecessors did not learn because new information has come out, new teaching techniques have come out. So I actually might not know as much as they do in that particular area, but I do know more for sure in this other area. It's about being able to say happiness and recognition of your power, recognition of your joy, recognition of the talents that you bring are something that have to be equally weighed on those scales. So with 3 of Cups, I mean, there's multiple levels to this to me. 3 of Cups is telling you, for one thing, go out and have some fun. Like, that seems irrelevant to this fear, but it feels like this is really important to go out and do something that's purely lighthearted, that's purely open, that is just for the sake of having fun with no objective. So the simpler the thing, the better. Whether it's just going out and partying with a few friends, whether it's just sitting by a campfire or something like that with a couple people, or, even just having like a movie night or something. But like, have some fun. And then, of course, on the other side of it, just make sure that you're equally weighing the whole story, not just the negative parts that enforce your fear. Make sure to weigh out the other side of the story about all the things you know that your predecessors don't, about what it means that you have gone through your college years, through the digital age, where they may have not done this, and where you might feel like there's a lack of opportunity in certain areas, but that you know that you have what it takes enough to get a PhD. Your stick-to-itiveness, when applied to finding whatever comes next, that same stick-to-itiveness is going to get you there. It will get you there. So to not be the Knight of Swords, to be the 8 of Coins. And so that's where you are, that's who you are. And, of course, there's a level of comfort you can get from preparedness and just continuing to be like, okay, I got to make sure I also have this mapped out. I've got this figured out as well. And it's like, you're ready for that. You are so ready for that. So I'm excited for you. You've got a really bright near future ahead of you. Now let's take a look what else we've got. Mary, so I'm a Taurus who started 2 very different businesses in the last year. Have I bitten off more than I should have? Well, I wouldn't say should have, because here's the thing. I mean, there are people right now alive that run several businesses at the same time. And they understand consciously that by doing that, they are making a sacrifice for sure. Like there's a level of personal life with every business, with every extra business you create. There's a level of personal sacrifice that's inherent in that. And so, of course, you must be weighing out to what degree am I being stressed out and receiving a payoff for it, or to what degree am I not? You know, what am I not getting out of this now that I've taken this route? So let's take a look and draw a card on this, and then we're going to move on to Cancer, and then I'm going to do some more questions. So we have Knight of Cups. So with Knight of Cups is a really interesting one because this is about not interfering when there are other problems out there that seem to call to you. So as far as how that would apply to creating two very different businesses in the way that it's starting to eat up a lot of time, I would say Knight of Cups is definitely saying that this is a time of delegation for sure. So there's part of you that feels like it's been tempted into not necessarily handing off one of them, but it feels like bringing someone in who could make like a significant workload change for you. That's one thing that feels like it's connected to this, but also making sure that you're not adding more complexity to something that works with less complexity. So being able to work on one of your businesses and really give your all to it with all of your passion there. And for the other one, saying like realistically, the only thing I can do here to ease this up is like the assistance of another person. But the thing is with Knight of Cups, there's a level of mutual energy that's very necessary here. This is the energy of like, I'm bringing someone on with the clear goal to, kind of like to sort of take part of this over or to take some of this on. The clearing of that responsibility for yourself is something that is going to change you emotionally. And ironically, you actually might be capable of even more output than just these two if you're emotionally clear and stress-free again. So it's definitely something to weigh out. Though it seems with the Cups energy, it always involves bringing in another person, consulting another person, and being able to look at someone who currently is also managing two businesses and saying, this person is not just staying afloat, they are brilliantly successful. What can I emulate that they're doing that would help me? And of course, having just a direct conversation with them is always going to be the right way to go. Knight of Cups also says, do not allow yourself under any circumstances to get caught in the quicksand of politics. So if something is emotionally sucking away at you while you're running either one of these businesses, then it's very important to say, like, how can I reduce that whole portion of this? How can I step outside of these politics? Because this is something that is just draining my soul at this point. So we're going to move on to Cancer now, and then we can do some of these other questions here. I'm so excited for these. What's going on with Cancer? Cancer, we have Queen of Swords. So Cancer, this is going to be about making some sudden, sharp, and quick movements. Just like the Knight of Swords, we're cautioned to be much slower than we want to be. Queen of Swords is suggesting that you will be put in the position to make a lot of quick sudden changes in your life. And the thing is, with the decisiveness of the Queen of Swords, their decisiveness is her power. The ability to say, I know what I need right now, and I know that I have to go for what is best for me. I can't settle for anything less. When the Queen of Swords does things on behalf of her family, she makes sure that she's getting the right deal, the best deal in every single situation, and that she's not allowing anyone to fool her or trick her into delusions. So now's definitely the time, Cancer, to say, I need to be very discerning and then stick to my discernment. When I make a judgment call, believing in it and going for it and acting on it, because right now is the time where it feels like you are going to have access to a lot of information. You're going to be stepping into it's kind of like a Libra energy with the Queen of Swords. You're going to be stepping into some pretty sharp and sudden judgment calls. And it feels like as long as you are being honest and not sacrificing the truth at any point, as long as, even if you have to give out some cold, hard truth, that being honest will definitely get you through that. Now, as far as what it is that you need for this next week to really benefit from this, we have Seven of Swords. So once again, yeah, Seven of Swords is interesting. With the 7 energy, okay, so going back to the 5. With the 5 energy in tarot, we have something that happens to us. We got this external force that happens at us. With the 7 energy, we ourselves decide to preemptively do some pruning. So for instance, if 5 of Swords would have been the plant was hit by a windstorm and lost a couple branches, the 7 of Swords is I'm going to preemptively prune the toxic leaves off the plant. I'm going to prune away any toxic people that are siphoning my energy right now, and I'm going to make sure that that's not any part of my life. I am not going to allow myself to be in the position to have something stolen from me. I'm not going to be in the position to allow energy to be taken without equal giving. And so with 7 of Swords, it is very crystal clear that you are going to want to prune away any toxic people in your life. You're going to want to do this as well with yourself. You're going to want to prune away. So if there are ways in which you're sabotaging yourself in relationships, ways that you're sabotaging yourself in your day-to-day life, any sabotage or espionage that you're committing against yourself so that you won't get something that you deserve because you don't necessarily feel worthy yet, 7 of Swords is saying you've got to just cut that right out with some sharp scissors and let it go, or with some sharp pincers, I guess. So yeah, this is a very sword, air, intellectual energy for Cancer this upcoming week. Make sure to utilize that with love and understanding, and at the same time, don't be afraid to be a little bit sharp, because if you're not, and if you don't set very crystal clear lines in the sand, then people will, of course, logically walk over them. So let's take a look at Leo. Let's see what is going on with Leo, and then we're going to answer some more of your guys' questions. Leo, Leo, Leo. Do we have any Leos here in the audience? I'm Aries, and that still resonates. Yeah, no, of course. I mean, for the cardinals, we all seem to feel each other. The fixed signs all feel them, each other, and the mutable signs all do too. In an interesting way, not always in the same way. For instance, an Aries might take this way differently than the Cancer does for different reasons, but it's still a resonating message for sure. Let's take a look at Leo. What do we have going on for you guys today? So interesting, just like with Gemini, Leo has the 4 of Wands. So Leo's got 4 of Wands. 4 of Wands is telling the Leo that they need to really make sure that they're not only bringing themselves stability, but that they're actively and sort of just like preemptively creating structure for themselves for what's coming. So essentially 5 of Wands, the next card that would come up for Leo, would be a card where you know that you're about to enter a hectic week at work, that you know that there's a lot of arguments that just happened in your friend groups, and that you're about to kind of walk into that and sort of have to stay strong while there's all these different emotional battles that are happening. With 4 of Wands, it's like preparedness for you guys. This is about really taking the time to say, I need to make sure, one, that I simplify and that I'm not taking on like other projects that I can't handle right now, that I'm not taking on other drama I can't handle right now, that I'm not indulging. You can't indulge in the excitement and sensationalism of things that are going to end up really stressing you out right now. So this is about letting things go, letting things be simple, because that's the way that you will give yourself structure. And for Geminis, for them, it was all about external people in their life, friends and family. For you, this is about you giving yourself structure, you creating that for yourself, and simply just not taking on things you do not need right now. Let's see what will come up for this upcoming week for you guys for the next 7 days. We have the Emperor card. So here's the deal. Once again, another 4 numerology. So Emperor card is, of course, the composition and compilation of the 4 of Swords, 4 of Wands, 4 of Cups, and 4 of Coins put together. That makes the Emperor. You can't be the Emperor if you haven't mastered those other parts of the energy. So with for the Emperor, we have the Aries energy. So Leo's going to be taking on some of the Aries energy in its state of mastery. So what's that going to look like? Well, it's going to be about making really tough decisions. This is not just making decisions in general. This is making difficult ones that feel like there will be a sacrifice necessary. This is also going to be about tough decisions where the consistency of your movement forward will have to be, sort of at the price of some things that would have been much easier to kind of relax into right now. There's part of you that looks like you'd be set up to relax right now and to just kind of coast through some things in your life, but it's like you will want to take on a proactive role and to actually, make some changes and make some moves there, because if you don't, it's going to be something that you're going to really look back and regret it when you get to the 6 energy and you're kind of like looking back to the past at like why things happened. Emperor card is suggesting that now's the time for you to really step forward, even though you don't have to step into the Emperor role, even though it would be so much easier to just kind of take a vacation right now, and to do so, because if you don't, the amount of storms that are coming up are going to be something that's way more brutal than it has to be. And if you've prepared this way, and if you've stepped into this role, then people aren't even going to challenge you. People aren't going to challenge the Emperor. They're going to challenge the guy who's uncertain about if he should be the Emperor or not. So now's the time to take in some of that energy. Now let's answer a couple of questions from you guys in the audience, and let's see what it is that is coming up. And we got Craig here in the chat. High Vibe TV Network. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, Susanna, that's really brutal to snap that off all of a sudden. David is not here with us in the chat. I believe it is Craig. I could be wrong. Let's see. Kimberly, I could be a little more open to romantic love, I suppose. Yeah, that's something that it's got to be, it's got to be natural as it happens. Letting yourself be in that state of, especially, you're an Aries, so you have to, it's about honesty and authenticity and saying like, do I want a relationship or do I want this person in particular? And the feeling of those differences. And there's this level of wanting to step back sometimes because you're not sure which is which, but sometimes you have to be vulnerable and you have to go out there and open yourself up to some difficulty and potentially being heartbroken in order to get the love you want. But yeah, take the time that you need to take before that feels ready. If you don't feel ready for it, then yeah, just keep taking some time. Yeah, Cancerian Queen of Swords. Yeah, no, it was awesome. Helena, I would love a card, 1120 Scorpio, feeling ready to end a relationship, but putting it off in certain ways. But each time I put it off, I'm able to become clearer. Messages regarding this. Well, so you want to end the relationship because not only have you said it, but you want to end it because if you didn't want to end it, this wouldn't feel like a question you could even ask. So there's this level of, you were saying you were a Scorpio. So relationship is like one of the biggest parts of your entire life in the way in which you perceive life a lot of times through your relationship. So if this isn't working and if it's something that you understand you want to end, then it's not, it can be a matter of time. You can take time with it. But the thing is, right now that that's over. And that's the real truth. And so the question is, do you hold off on speaking the truth or do you speak it because it's the truth? The thing is, it's inconvenient a lot of times to speak the truth right away because, I mean, there's other things you'd want to have figured out first. There's, a lot of ways you might want to prepare. You want to like sort of get things like figured out for yourself so that there's not like the end of a relationship and other things to figure out. But the honest truth is that, I mean, the best thing is to be honest and to end it. Let's pull a card on and see if we have any advice on that. But it's like your heart already knows. If you didn't want to end it, or if this was confusing, then you'd still be clinging on tightly, because Scorpio doesn't just let go of people easily. There's like a level of like dedication and loyalty. A lot of people give Scorpio the bad rap about being like, all these different, like so obsessive. And I mean, in some cases they can be, and so like, so overtly aggressive in this way that really is coming from a place of like dedication and loyalty. Scorpio like is dedicated. So let's take a look at anything you need to know about this situation. We have the Strength card. Yeah, so basically, you have the lion here. You have a woman who has tamed the lion. She's not killing the lion. She's not wrestling the lion. She has simply tamed it. She placed her arms around its neck, and she's just holding it in place gently. The reason that it's so much more powerful to tame the lion rather than to kill the lion is because it shows a genuine strength and mastery over the animal self within the sacral, and of course the civilized self within the crown chakra. So with the Strength card, we have this balance that's happening between these two separate forces, the civilized mankind and the animal. As far as this relationship is concerned, speaking the truth would be putting your arm around a lion. It's something that in no way, shape, or form feels safe to speak that truth. It feels like you will be put in a very difficult position because of it. And at the same time, you understand that strength and mastery is going to come from that truth being revealed and you being able to be the one who speaks it, rather than being in a position where you're sort of like half in, half out and waiting for the other person to kind of detonate it that way. At least like there's a clean cut that isn't your fault, is the perception. And so I would say let yourself speak that truth and put your arm around the lion, like 100%. There's a lot of times in life that we hesitate to end relationships that aren't good for us, but the amount of collateral that we think comes from ending it is often so much less than the collateral of letting it continue on and on and on, So it's just a form of self-love to give that truth to yourself and to speak it. It's a form of respect for yourself. Oh, thanks so much, Jenny. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was sort of impromptu. We decided to go live and have some fun today. All right, we got Tamara here. We got Tamara Jean, who's on the High Vibe channel as well. How's it going, Tamara? Hope you're doing well. Let's take a look at Virgo. Virgo, 6 numerology. How perfect for you. So 6 numerology, we have 6 of Swords. 6 of Swords, Virgo, you are very thoughtful right now, and you're in a position where you're like, I'm about to have to take a journey based on what it is I think and based on what it is I believe. And then there's part of you that's questioning and saying, should I instead wait for other people to join me and agree with me? And it's so important, Virgo, that you stick with your guns and that you get on that boat and that you sail off into the ocean, knowing that your compass, that your guiding star is your philosophy. The thing you believe right now that you think will pull you through is a very powerful force to believe in. It's a powerful force to be a part of. This is your truth right now. So this is about taking a journey based on your truth, which might be imperfect, rather than waiting around for someone else to say, yeah, no, that's for sure the truth. Look, I've got this evidence, because Virgo wants evidence. And so Virgo right now, you're going to have to, this isn't even about taking a risk. This is because it's not a risk to act on what you know to be true, to live your life the way that you want to live your life. So make this change and do this boldly and bravely, because the amount of respect that you give yourself when you have, because the Six of Swords, this is an abundance of understanding. This is an abundance of new ideas coming to the surface. This is an abundance of knowing your direction and not being able to exactly know why, but you just kind of feel it. So let yourself feel it and act on it. Like, let yourself be a part of that. Now, as far as the thing that will help you the most over this upcoming week, we have Page of Pentacles. So yeah, Virgo, there's a level of lightening up here. There's a level of basically saying, you know, sometimes I'm the most successful when I'm kind of bringing a more positive or chill attitude to my workplace. Sometimes I'm more successful in getting my point across when I'm being patient with the other person and I'm having a discussion with them and I'm expressing what it is that's been pent up for me recently. And also, you know, there's sometimes where you act in a creative and fun way to accomplish a project, to make something work for yourself that doesn't feel nearly as prepared as a more militant and rigid way of preparing each and every single detail. But you might surprise yourself by recognizing that your creativity is a very powerful intellectual resource right now, and it's something that, even though it seems irrelevant, can actually bring you to far greater success. With the 6 and then a page, it feels like essentially you're going to have this abundance of opportunity, and then of course you're going to be put in the position to answer for that. And when you are, it's so important to answer honestly, to answer in the way that you genuinely believe and the way that you feel in that moment. And reliance upon feelings isn't always going to be easy for you because you'd prefer to have some evidence or some data that shows it and proves it. But right now, you're going to have to act a little bit more based on your patience, or based on your passion, I mean. Based on your passion, based on living through the philosophy that you believe in and standing up for it. And understanding that having fun can sometimes be more productive, legitimately productive, than being militant with yourself. This is about taking a singular journey to go do something and then to announce what it is that you're planning to do. So prepare yourself for your declaration and do so proudly, even if it's coming from a place, from the heart space, that you might view as a little more whimsical or intangible to the degree where you wonder about if you're on the right track or not. But trust yourself, trust your heart. It's not an easy one though. That's all easier said than done. Like telling a Virgo to just not worry about it. Like, yeah, that's not something that always goes over super well. So let's take a look at Libra. So we have the devil. Uh-oh. Yeah, no. So Libra, what we have to do right now, we have to really remind ourselves that if we are chained up and we have the key, we should probably use it and free ourselves. Because the biggest illusion with the devil card is that the devil has come and hurt us and chained us up, when in reality, we can escape at any moment. It's not easy to escape. We don't want to leave a relationship that is, that we're extremely emotionally invested in, even though we know it's wrong for us. But just think about elephants. I always think about the elephant metaphor. This is something my mom told me once. Elephants in the circus, when you bring them in as babies, you chain them to a pole, and then every single day, over and over again, the elephant's chained up to the pole so it doesn't go anywhere. By the time that they're adults, you don't need the chain anymore. You just need to hammer down a pole. And the adult elephant, who could easily rip the pole right out of the ground if there was a chain, which there isn't, is able to it just stands there. It's conditioned to think like, I must stand here. So Libra, we have to ask ourselves right now, is there actually a chain around our neck? And if there is, do we have the key? And if we don't, can we just tear this pole out of the ground and leave? Because it's time to leave the circus. It's time to leave conditioning. Conditioning is not serving us. It's not making us happy. It's not making us successful. It's not allowing our truth to flow through. So it's the time to rebel. It's time to basically say, I'm going to stop being chained to this. And the funny thing is, with the Devil card, simultaneously, there's this energy of, what about what people will think of me if I'm leaving the circus? What about what people will think of me if I'm ripping the pole out of the ground? Won't they think that I'm this? It's like people will think a lot of things. The devil, what a perfect representation for being mischaracterized and being viewed in a purely negative light for things that you're doing that aren't necessarily negative. And that's not defense on the devil. That's the metaphor of, think of all the times in life where you see someone who works their ass off and they become successful, and then other people just make the assumption that they must have greedily coveted all these different things, that they must have stepped on other people, that they must have hurt and deceived others. And it's like, not necessarily at all. Maybe they worked really hard, and maybe you're superimposing this vision of greed on top of them when they never did that in the first place. So Libra, don't worry about being judged by other people, because this is your life, and don't let yourself be in that circus another day longer. So let's see what Libra needs for this upcoming week. And I have to take this, as well, because I'm a Libra. So I have to, and here we go. And on top of not worrying what other people think with the Eight of Swords, we also have to not worry about what we're trying to convince ourselves of. Because right now we might be trying to say I'm unworthy, or that I can't handle this, or that I can't do this, or this is too stressful. And we have to free ourselves from that, because the amount of self-talk, negative self-talk swords that are in the ground surrounding us does look like a cage, and it looks like we're trapped. But just like with the Devil card, just like with that elephant metaphor, we have the ability at any time to free ourselves and to pull ourselves up from our bootstraps. So now's the time to free ourselves, to stop judging ourselves so harshly, and to not care if anyone else is judging us. Plenty of people will do that. We have no control over that. So you might as well just give up control over that and just not worry about it. And it's easier said than done, because we Libras think things to death from the other person's point of view and from our own point of view over and over again. And when we take showers, I can't speak for all Libras, but I know for me, when I take a shower, it's usually 20, 30 minutes of me just being like, well, this thing over here, but this, though, you have to think about this. Well, I did, but I also factored in this. And so it's like, if right now you're giving that much energy to negative self-talk or to other people's judgment, you're going to drive yourself crazy. So let's do Scorpio. Oh, gosh. Scorpio. So we have Ace of Wands. We got the recognition that something has to change. You know that you have to take action on something new in some way that will break you out of the old paradigm, because this is cycled back around from the Ten of Wands. Ten of Wands was back when you were carrying way too much, and recently you let it go. You said, okay, I can't carry all this stuff to the top of the mountain. I'm letting it go, and I'm starting new. I know that something needs to change. The thing is, Ace of Wands is not about immediately taking action. It's about fully endorsing and accepting that something needs to change. You have to intellectually say, I'm going to do this, not I would like to do this, or maybe I should do that. It's like, no, you just tell yourself, like, I'm doing this, and like double down on it full on. Because once you double down on it as a fixed sign, you're going to stick with it. But the thing is, like, you have to fully get in. You can't be half and half and half and over and under, all these different things. And what's hilarious, the thing that will help you the most in this upcoming week is the King of Swords. So yeah, so this isn't about making rash decisions or taking action rashly. This is about the recognition that something needs to change with the Ace of Wands, and then the King of Swords saying, okay, and since it's going to be a radical change and you've never done this before, you go ahead and take time to think about it. Not to just think about it, but to think about it objectively. If you're talking about how you can do it and you're positive and idealistic, great. If you're being pessimistic, cool. But the thing is, you have to give yourself both points of view and the objective point of view. You can even consult another person, but a lot of times King of Swords is all on his own. And a lot of times he has to just think about this and say, you know what? Realistically, based on everything I've done in my life and everything I think I can do, I should do this. I should take this new action. So Scorpio, get ready for some significant life change. And all you have to do is fully go in, like all in completely. Yep, Scorpio. I hear Craig. I called him Scorpio. I hear Craig out there who's a Scorpio. He's like, woohoo. So yeah, no, that's perfect. No party like a Scorpio party. That's right. That is right. Venus, Mercury, Neptune, and Sun. Lisa Gale. Slowly correct. 4 keys, all Scorpio, no waiting. Oh, you have a stellium. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I've got a stellium in Libra with my Sun, Moon, Mercury, and Venus. They're all in the 3rd decan, and I'm very Libra all the time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer some more questions. I'm just going to do Sagittarius first, and then we'll get to your questions. And how are we doing on time? How much? It's 2:49. I've been here a minute. Oh snap. Okay. Well, let's go for this. Sagittarius. Ooh. Okay. So Sagittarius, first of all, has the Strength card, which we talked about earlier. You're at 1 hour. Okay. Cool. Thank you, Craig. So Sagittarius has the Strength card. And so with the Strength card, they are looking at mastery right now, specifically the peace and mastery that comes from recognizing our passionate, sacral, animalistic nature, the things that we do that don't have an objective reason. They're just things that we feel like doing. And then, of course, the civilized mankind, the knowledge of the different things that we collect over our lifetime, the different philosophies and the thoughtfulness. And so with the Strength card, Sagittarius, what you're going to want to look at right now is making sure that you are not being too tough on the lion right now and like putting a chain around its neck or trapping it in a cage. And then telling yourself, oh, well, I'll be nicer to the lion tomorrow. It's like there's no time like that. You're in a relationship with the lion in a very special way. You also can't keep like over serving the lion either. You can't keep throwing it slabs of meat over and over again and then getting curious of why it starts looking at you like with very hungry eyes, because you can't coddle the lion and you can't abuse it either. You have to be in a respectful, equal relationship with the lion. So Sagittarius, right now, you're going to be in a place where people are going to try and call you out for these different things, and you're going to have to avoid listening to that. People telling you you're being too serious or too whimsical or anything like that. You can't listen to that right now. You really have to give yourself a fair chance to explore your passion and let your passion out and let that flow. Let your happiness flow. Let your anger flow if you're feeling angry. But like let all of your emotions flow outwards honestly. And then, remember emotional mastery and stepping into saying, okay, I got to make sure this emotion isn't controlling me or controlling my life, and that, we're in an equal relationship. So with the Strength card, you're about to face a pretty significant challenge that will require your willpower. And if you are in a bad relationship with the lion right now, then that's going to be pretty tough to accomplish that. If you are, then you'll have enough energy left over to make sure that, you're able to succeed. Make sure you're able to change and grow and transform and become something brand new. So that's the Strength card for the Sagittarians. Let's see what the Sagittarians need for this upcoming week. Yeah, Four of Swords. Four of Swords, one thing that'll help your relationship with the lion right now is resting. Taking some time to literally sleep more, taking some time to actually rest in the form of saying, like, oh my God, I've got to do the dishes and I've got to clean the house and I've got to do these different things and it's like for just a second, just allow only one thing to exist at a time. Like it sounds weird, but just allow only the dishes to exist when you need to do the dishes, and not all the other millions of things. And then once you're done with the dishes, then cleaning the house can exist. And then getting that project done for work can exist, but allow one single thing at a time. Otherwise, your amount of intellectual energy right now is going to be more harmful than it is helpful. And your mind is very sharp, and so it's really important that you don't accidentally prick your finger on it over and over again. The thing you can do right now is to be very restful, to take time to meditate or do yoga or get extra sleep or all of the above, maybe even an artistic pursuit, but give yourself some relaxation, because if you don't, you're just like, you're burning the candles on both ends, like to such a degree that it's going to just stress you out. Four of Swords is a mental health warning. It says, hey, make sure to rest up right now, because after that Three of Swords that you just went through and you're about to head over into the Five of Swords, you're going to want to be well rested. Because if you don't learn the lesson of the Four of Swords, by the time you get to the Nine of Swords and you're facing the insomnia and the anxiety and all the different things, it's going to be just brutal. It's just going to be more than one person can handle. So listen to the Four of Swords and get some rest and get some relaxation. Just like with the Gemini energy, your opposition, Gemini had Four of Wands and Four of Coins. So you're getting the Four of Swords, and it's so important that you recognize kind of what Gemini's doing right now, and that you get some of that yourself, even if you don't want to. Now, before I move on to Capricorn, let's take a look at some of the questions. So, Brittany, I have a question. So reluctant. I connected deeply with someone in the past that moved, and we still care about and stay in contact. Is that a situation I should move away from, or will we reconnect? So the interesting thing is the way that that's asked. That's asked in the form as if like one of those two things are already set in stone, as if like you either will reconnect or you won't. What I would do instead is I would look at it as, what would happen if you decide to reconnect with this person in that way, or what would happen if you close your heart to this? Because the thing is, this is not set in stone. It's not preordained that you will reconnect. However, that's interesting. So we have Nine of Swords for that. Nine of Swords is suggesting that this is about facing a fear. So this isn't about the relationship being the right thing to do. Like I ought to get in this relationship or I ought not to. It's not on that spectrum. This is about the fact that there's a level of vulnerability you would have to experience if you open your heart completely and move out of the confusion stage and say, I'm going to give it a shot because I'm drawn to, because it actually, I think it would feel good. You'd have to move out of the vulnerability stage and face the fear. Facing the fear of being in that complete vulnerability would be something that is far more important than whether or not this relationship does or does not work out. Which sounds kind of harsh, because it's like, what are you suggesting? Relationships don't matter? It's like, no. But as far as facing this fear of vulnerability, this is what makes it so that you can open up completely to love in any case, no matter what. Inevitably, a relationship in a year from now, or a relationship 5 minutes from now. The Nine of Swords is suggesting that this fear should be faced. So that's one thing, that if you're drawn to it, keep your heart open and go for it. And go for this reconnection. Go for it completely. But the thing is, if you aren't completely in it, if you don't really feel that complete pull, it sounds like idealistically beautiful. It would be interesting. There was like a strong connection there. But you're still like, your heart isn't like in it. It's contemplating, but it's not actually beating extremely fast. Then I think you have your answer, There's no right or wrong as far as that relationship, and it's not preordained. But what is definitely important is facing the fear, and so that definitely leans me more towards if you want this, be open-hearted and go try and get it. Like, go try and get it and go for it fully. Because the thing is, like, if you think that guarding yourself will create safety, it might. But guarding yourself might also guard you from allowing yourself to be fully vulnerable and then to truly experiencing the most incredible opportunity ever. So that's what I feel about it. I think it's the most important thing here is facing the fear, and it's not even in the form of a relationship question to me. Let's see. Tamara, Lisa, there are multiple lifetime cleanses happening right now. Take care of yourself, girl. You can ask your guides for a break from the collective. Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. No, I feel that, Kim. Yeah, self-dating is beautiful. Yeah, and even beyond that, I mean, it's the thing is, this is clearly a challenge. This is clearly a challenge that was put in front of you from the universe, the way I see it. And this is a challenge because I mean it's like a movie, right? You've got the person long distance, you've got like then there's like this option to reconnect. It's like a movie because it's one of the most risky things you can possibly do. And I've been in that position 2 times in my life, and both times it didn't really end well, but I'm still glad that I did it and that I took the risk because there was a level of respect I got for myself from going for it, even though I could have gotten hurt, and I did. But facing that fear has opened my heart to a degree where I feel that I'm very confident that I can experience a beautiful love relationship in this lifetime, even if it's not right now. And it was because I took that risk. I could have instead gone for much safer situations and things that were very simple and smart choices, but that wouldn't have fulfilled me. That wouldn't have made my heart beat. That wouldn't have brought me to true passion. And that's something I believe is very important. Yeah, Lisa. As far as Aries is reading, yeah, we have that will be at the very beginning of the video. So if you can rewind now, I don't know if it has the option there for you to go back now, but if not, then yeah, you can go check it out on the replay for sure. Yeah, no, for sure, Kim. Yeah, no, it's not. It's something that feels like you want to run away from it for sure, but it's so positive to just meet it head on. To meet it head on. I know for me, like my thing is all about fear. My whole Greek fatal flaw, would be fear, and it's something that I allowed to consume my whole life. And being on the other side of that, like each and every day, feeling more and more open and more in potential danger. It's ironically like you get hurt a lot less when you're in more potential danger. Let's take a look at what we have going on for Capricorn. You guys make sure to ask some more questions in the chat. And if you guys can share this video out to Facebook, Twitter, anywhere, or Instagram, that would be super awesome as like an equal exchange. And I'm going to go ahead and start with Capricorn and see what it is that Capricorn needs right now. Capricorn, Ace of Swords. So you are stepping into some Libra energy. And Ace of Swords is suggesting that you are going to be getting a lot of new ideas, a lot of brand new ideas, and they are unformed. And then here's the thing with Capricorn. Capricorn doesn't want to mess around. They don't want to invest in things randomly and wildly. They want to make sure that their idea is good. So when you have your Ace of Swords moment, don't just immediately say that, oh, this is probably just a pipe dream. This probably couldn't work. Maybe, like really give it some thought. See if you could make it work. Take some time. Just give it respect is the idea, because it's a form of self-respect. If you have some brand new creative awakening idea that just pops into your brain, respect it and see if maybe you could make something out of that. And oftentimes, it's in the swords, it will be an idea that is possible. Like, after you've done all your analysis, you'll probably view it as possible, but not necessarily probable. Like it's possible, it could be done, but it might be kind of dangerous to take that risk. And so you'll have to ask yourself, Capricorn, if you currently feel like you're dissatisfied with the comfort and stability that you've currently signed up for and have put all your work into, and you're realizing that the end goal wasn't good enough, the end goal wasn't quite what you thought it was going to be, then now might be the time to listen to your dreams, to listen to that sudden awakening idea and see if you can respect this potential pipe dream with just as much respect as you'd give something solid and tactile and measurable. So let's take a look at what would help you out for this upcoming week. Ace of Cups, another ace. So you've got a lot of raw material. The universe is trying to tell you something here. With the aces, this is unformed energy. This is just the seed. It has not become a plant. It is something that's raw. So whether you're feeling the raw bliss right now, the raw dreams and potential, raw psychic energy, it's important that you let yourself explore it and don't demand answers immediately. Don't demand that, you know, this is like, it makes sense immediately, because things don't always make sense immediately. Things take time. They take a lot of time. They take a lot of patience, and they take a lot of hard work. And you understand about working hard for extremely long periods of time. So give yourself that same you know, connection and philosophy to your own feelings. If your feelings are coming up and you're not sure why they're coming up, and so part of you just wants to kind of suppress them or just shove them down and make it so that, you know, you don't have to feel it, or that you're too scared to feel this happiness because it might lead to then missing it and feeling sadness, like, let yourself feel it. Let yourself take that risk. Let yourself take that risk. Ace of Swords and Ace of Cups is hilarious to get for Capricorn, because basically that's like the most dreamy, idealistic kind of energy that you guys could face. And it's not something that you guys are necessarily super comfortable in. But I think there's a point to it. I mean, life is all about balance. Life is about being able to be a part of everything. It's not about being silly all of the time. It's not about being serious all the time either. And it's not about, you know, constantly being in a state of passion, nor is it in a place of being, you know, just very like cold and analytical. You've got to have everything. You've got to have everything. And so, you know, consider that maybe pipe dream. Maybe it is. Maybe you're right. But maybe there's something to this here that's pretty special, because a lot of incredible companies and inventions have started with what seemed like a pipe dream. Like the invention of the airplane. That must have sounded insane to everyone, like the whole time that they were trying to create the airplane. Yeah, Linda. Yeah, I've been okay. The universe sent me all the healing I need for now. I throw myself headfirst into an emotional roller coaster, but I am tired of running from the healing that is needed. Be the butterfly. Yeah, let's pull something for you, Linda. Just some piece of information right now. The Fool. So, Linda, the number one thing for you is open-mindedness. The number one thing, because the Fool, everyone always thinks the Fool is starting the journey. It's not starting it. It's being open to the new journey is existence. So remember, the Fool is the 0 card. So it comes before the first card, the Magician, and it comes after the last card, the World. It goes World, Fool, Magician, like that. And a lot of times people think of the Fool as just 0 for some reason. It could have been the first one, but for some reason they added a 0. It's like, no, it's the in-between point between true mastery of your external reality and the Magician utilizing raw potential. So the Fool card is telling you, Linda, that now's the time to be open-minded to this vision you've had for a long time about how things have to go, how things have to heal, that things might actually heal in a different way than you expect. Things might get better in a much different way. And so be open-minded to what some of these things could be. Be open-minded to interesting antagonistic ideas that directly oppose your own, and be open-minded to yourself. You might come up with some new ideas that, you know, could put you on a different path. And so be open-minded and listen to it and see if maybe that's you've got something here. But open-mindedness is always, you know, the whole point of the Fool, because that's why he's kind of naive, but at the same time, kind of the wisest person ever. He's usually someone who's traveling from place to place and sort of like open to new experiences. That's why he's great at parties, right? The Fool is great at parties because he's got a story to talk about when he tried this thing and when he was hanging out with these kinds of people and when he traveled over to these types of places. And he always has something to say because he's been open to so many different things. So let's take a look at Aquarius. Aquarius, we got 10 of Swords, death of an idea. It might seem easy right now to ignore the evidence and to basically say, okay, this situation fell through, but it's just because of this thing. It's because of that person's fault over there. No, an idea has died. A lot of times with the 10 of Swords, this can be a philosophy you held. You suddenly realize that it's total BS. A cult leader dying is usually a very Ten of Swords energy, right? The cult leader being found out for being a criminal, or the cult leader dying or whatever. Ten of Swords is the concept that something you believed in fervently has now died. And so there's a level of anguish to that that can be almost unmatched. But you have to look at it directly in the eyes, because if you do, if you allow yourself to look at the truth, then you can circle back around to the Ace of Swords and you can start your new journey again. And it's not back at square one, even though you're starting at the Ace. It's you learned so much from this journey if you let yourself remember that. And so the important thing right now is do not reject the truth. Like, look at it no matter how hard it hurts, no matter how much you wanted to believe in that person and then they weren't what you thought they were. Like, you have to let it go, because if you just keep hanging around their body and you're just sort of hanging around the memory of them, you're just going to stay lost in this purgatory world, and you don't belong there. You deserve happiness. You deserve to be free. Now let's take a look at what Aquarius needs for this upcoming week. Interesting. Another 10 energy. So financially for you as well, 10 of coins. So 10 of coins is going to be the propagation of new wealth. This is going to be the ending of certain projects, but basically saying like, okay, this company's over now, but I think I'm going to start 3 new ones. Or, my time has come to retire, but now I want to hand off this particular part of the business to that son of mine or that daughter of mine. Basically this is about things being wound up and then being unwound so we can start some new beginnings, some new Ace of Coins. With 10 of Coins for you guys, basically now's the time to say that financial projects and pursuits that you had that did not work, we have to let them go immediately and redirect energy into something that can work. And for those things that did work, you now have to be open-minded to what new ways this can manifest, because you can never rest on the old laurels forever. There will always come a time where you have to move on. No matter what a master you've become in something, you have to eventually move on to step into the role of the pupil again. And holding yourself in that mastery stage is more and more of an illusion as every day goes by, because other people will recognize it for you if you don't recognize it. So this next week, it's very important. Be open to the different ways that you can start something new, and understand that you can't stay. You can't stay. You just can't stay. That's basically the message in itself. You can't stay wherever you are right now. You have to go somewhere new. Yeah, Jennifer, Venus in Aquarius. Yeah, it's definitely 10 of Swords and 10 of Coins is like really tough. That's like, I think the hardest. They have the hardest one of the collective today. I love you guys. Thank you so much for all the awesome comments. I'm going to go ahead and do Pisces, and then let's go ahead and meet up again sometime soon, okay? So before I do Pisces, just so you guys know, so if any of you didn't hear already when I talked about it earlier, we've got a new show here at High Vibe TV called The Mongoose Den. It's going to be a weekly show where I am interviewing a spiritual practitioner or spiritual business owner, or both, who basically has, who talks about their journey through their life, the things they've been through, how they found their answers, how they found their conclusions, how they found God in the way that they did, and the opposition that they faced, the philosophical challenges they faced, and the things that they still to this day question or have doubt in, because that's not talked about much at all in the spiritual community. We all talk about what we feel and what we feel is true, and our faith and all these different things, but the things that we still question, the things that we're open-minded to being proven wrong about, I think that there's a big space open for talking about that. And so that's what this show is going to be about. If you're interested in being a part of this show and you have experience in these areas, please email me at themongoosedin@gmail.com. And also, just so you guys know, If you want to head over to my Instagram at Jax Atlantis, I have got a reading sale going on till the end of today for my natal chart readings as well as my clairvoyant readings, where I employ tarot sometimes, or you can, choose to, if we want to use scrying or crystal balls or anything like that. But I have that reading going on till the end of the day. It's 30% off, so make sure to check it out. Also for mentorships where I teach tarot and teach astrology, and I look forward to working with each and every one of you. So as far as Pisces, let's take a look at the Pisces collective, and let's see what's going on here. Oh, Pisces, just like Sagittarius, you got Four of Swords. Four of Swords, Pisces, you've got to be restful right now. You've got to be very gentle with yourself, because there's part of you that wants to be suddenly, because the thing about Pisces can be so gentle, and then it can be so sharp out of nowhere, out of seemingly nowhere. You know where it comes from, Pisces, but Four of Swords is basically saying you've got to be extremely gentle with yourself, extremely restful right now, because you apparently are about to be receiving a lot of new information. It's going to come out of nowhere. And Five of Swords says that it's going to be a little bit stressful, to be honest. But if you're taking the time to be very restful and gentle with yourself now, gentle and kind to other people around you, non-judgmental, then yeah, you'll be able to make it through the Five of Swords pretty easily. It'll just be a passing phase, and you move right on to Six of Swords, where you get to move forward in life and things will feel good. So give yourself some stability through rest and comfort and eating right and drinking enough water and all the different things that you can take care of yourself with, and just love yourself as hard as possible right now. As far as the thing that would help you out for this upcoming week, we have the King of Pentacles. So King of Pentacles is telling Pisces that you've got to create a system of structure for yourself right now. You have to create a system of finances, a system of abundance, a system of how you can bring more good into your life. And this applies both emotionally and physically. So King of Pentacles is basically saying, now's the time to decide for yourself, here's my new goal. Here's the thing that I want to set in place, and here's why. Here's all the things that this would benefit in my life if I went for it, and if I took that risk, and I go for it full earth energy style. If I do this, I'm going to end up so happy. I'm going to create this legacy for myself. I'm going to be able to provide for my children. I'm going to be able to, take on these other projects I've always wanted to take on. And there's a level of, this is Pisces stepping into their deepest bravery, really. If you step into the King of Coins, it means you're willing to step away from the things that come naturally to you as your strengths, and to instead look at the far more tactile physical world around you, and to utilize your strengths there too, or to build them if you don't feel you have them. You might actually have more than you think you do. So don't underestimate yourself, Pisces. You deserve a King of Coins life for yourself. You deserve a throne. You deserve to rest. You deserve relaxation. And if you give yourself these things, you can have yourself one super happy life right now. But if you are hurting yourself with Four of Swords and not resting and being too harsh with yourself, and you feel intimidated by the King of Coins and you can't possibly ever step into that role, then it's going to be just pretty painful. So give yourself what you deserve. Give yourself love. That's my feeling about that. So I love each and every one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in today to High Vibe TV and for leaving all these incredible comments. I might stop over in the chat a little bit later and maybe answer some of these back as well. But make sure to check me out on Instagram at Jax Atlantis, on Facebook also at Jax Atlantis, and of course on High Vibe TV. You can go to High Vibe TV. I'm doing daily tarot readings for the collective there. I'm about to be doing the Mongoose Den, of course, under High Vibe TV each and every week, and I'll let you guys know once we've decided what the release date is for that. And yeah, we've got all kinds of amazing projects. So I love each and every one of you. I will talk to you all very soon.